trickling in. So again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you all in the world. Again, I'm Yvette Angelique. I go by she and her pronouns. I am on the land of the Timucua here in Atlantic Beach, Florida, and outside of Jacksonville. So again, nice to see you. And what we're going to do, we have a lot of folks coming into the room. So we're going to check in on the chat. And I'd like for you to do this. So, like I said before, some of you entered, y'all look like some real rebel rousers, and I'm so glad to see y'all. So we're going to have you think about, is there a poet or a songwriter, or you might be a poem or a song that really got you reveled up. Whether it was something of protest, it was something of hope. I mean, we like to work these things hand in hand. So I'm gonna give yourself a minute to think about it. So this is the order I want you to do this. I want you to just put in your name, whatever name you like to be called, because some of you have some interesting names here on your Zooms. And also let me know your pronouns, she, her, they, them. And also just put in a poem, put in a poet, or put in a song, or put in a songwriter or performer that you have experienced before and that you really, like that protest or the song that really gets you riled up for a vision of what could happen for our future, a song of hope. So I'd like to see both, because both kind of need to do a dance together. So if you could just start populating the chat with that, give yourself a minute. I'll give yourself about a minute or so to think about it. And then I'm just going to go through and I will probably won't have a chance to read what everyone writes, but I will do the best I can. All right. So good to see your faces. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see. All right. I see folks have already put some things in the chat. Here we go. Welcome, Cheryl. Okay. Thank you for telling me where you're from. West Chapel. Great. Hello from South Carolina, Bonnie. Suzanne, hello from Ruskin. Ruth, hello from Jacksonville. Nicole, Ponte Vedra. Hello, Connie. From Anchorage, Alaska. Ooh, wow. Thank you. She Dragon. Thank you. Poem About My Rights by June Jordan. Yes, June Jordan. June Jordan. That's my girl. Yes, that's another girl. Christine, welcome. Hey, The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman. Welcome, Christine. Co-rooter. Roots, Alternate Roots, an organization on arts and social justice. My sister. Let's see, Bonnie, Rachel Platten, Fight song. Ooh, I'm like it. Oh, fight song. And Still I Rise. Thank you, Deborah Grayson. That is definitely a motivational one, Deborah. Thank you. Diane. Oh, she, her. Peter Gordon singing the national anthem. Can't remember the title. Ooh, I would love to hear that. Let's see. Jan. Let's see. I just discovered poems in, oh, yeah, the Norican Cafe. Yes, those poets. Yes, yes. Good one. Kelsey. Let's see, from Jacksonville. It's a musician Hosier whose work got me inspired to write poetry. Excellent. Yeah, see, songwriting and poetry. I was a songwriter before I was a poet. So, there's a lot of connection. Bridge City Sinners. Break the Chain. I love that. Thank you by Michelle. Hey, Michelle, former student Shell. Let's see, Kirsty. Let's see, she heard Oswell. Apartheid, a protest song. All right, a protest poet. All right, excellent. All right. Um, Hezvaza. Oh, Havaza. You know what? You were in the class last time. Maya Angelou, and Still I Rise. Another good one. Oh, you all coming good ones. This Susan, let's see, the song Revolution, right, by John Baptiste. All right, hello from New Orleans. All right, hey, Sam. Ruth from the UK. Hey, welcome. And Still I Rise. Great one. Suzanne. Anything from Bob Marley. Yeah, yes, anything from Bob Marley. Yes, original protester, gangster, Maya Angelou. Hello from the South, Deborah. And let's see, Victoria. Uh, Ain't I a woman? Oh, yes, Sojourner Truth. Excellent, excellent. Man in the Mirror, Little Baby Bigger. This is by Morrow. Thank you. The revolution will not be televised. There you go, Gil Scott Heron. Now we're going way back. I love that. Let's see. Nicole is Ring by Sadiq. I don't know how to pronounce that name. I love his poems. They make me feel my feelings. Excellent. And Chris Castle, Where to Go. All right. And that's by Ruth has put that suggestion in. So you all have the idea. All right. Yes, my revolutionary partners in crime, we are ready to go. All right, I'm going to put in a link here. Um, let me just put it in here, everyone in the meeting. I'm going to put in a link to a Canva presentation I have. It's very short, but I want to give you an idea of what we're going to be working on today. So hold on for a minute. And this is a link that you can, access all the time. So you don't have to say, oh, Yvette, please send me the slides. It will already be done. The link is here in the chat. So you can follow me and look at it yourself, or I'm also going to share my screen. So give me a second to do that. Oh, wait a minute. It would be good to go to the link first. Let me go to the link. Hopefully everybody can get in there with no problems. And I can share my screen with you. Yeah. Mine came up. It was slow, but it came up. And now I'm going to share my screen. All right. Can you see my screen? Let me see if you give me a thumbs up. All right. Great, great, great. All right. So this one right here is it's called Poetry and Protest and Hope. I really think that protest poetry really uplifts issues, and hope, shares with us the world that we want to see, the world that we want to create. So, why political poetry? So this is what's the genre is called: political poetry, resistance poems, or whatever. And, as poets, we are poets in the room. Political poems name the truth, from the beginning of time. Poets have been known to say the unsaid, to say the stuff that people are afraid to say, and to say it powerfully and beautifully in ways that connects with the heart. So political poems have been around for a long time. And I would like to say, as a poet, that is our job in the community, is to kind of uplift these issues, or uplift the visions that we want to see, especially in the world that doesn't work for us. Political poems, they resist. They also help us remember. They help us remember, when things felt a lot calmer and better in lives. So they help, evoke those emotions and memories. And they also help us reclaim. And that whole reclaiming is like, this is what's right for me or what's right for us. So a political poem could be something that you write about yourself. It could be something that you write about the world. It could be something that you want to uplift and see. So it's really about connecting around humanity, So that is the thing I want you to keep in mind. And they live in the body and they move towards collective change. You'll see this wonderful quote by one of my favorite poets, Audre Lorde, where she says, "Poetry is not a luxury," and it's not something uh, that's kind of a nice to do when people feel down or out or want to be inspired. They tend to go to words, songs, music, poems as a way to really connect with their humanity. Right? And today we're going to work on a particular poem. How many of you are familiar with the list poem? Just kind of give a thumbs up or whatever. Okay, great, great. All right, it's a wonderful poetry form, and I'm introducing this because this will help you really get down to images, concrete, um, tactile. It taps into your senses. It's also makes things a little bit more concrete where your reader could really see and feel the emotion. So this poem is a beautiful way to convey a powerful message. And I'm going to show you a few versions of different types of list poems because you might be surprised what gets called a list poem. So list poem basically has three parts. It has a, beginning, middle, end. You're kind of familiar with that with storytelling. And you're going to start by in the beginning, kind of maybe have one or two introductory stanzas, or it doesn't have to be a stanza. It could be a prose poem. So you might have the first lines, that kind of introduces the topic. And then you use these opening lines and then move to the middle of the poem where it will consist of listed items. This can be a rant where it just kind of just goes on and lists things. It could also be done in lines. So I'm going to show you a couple of different versions of what it could look like. And then you typically end with one or two stanzas or a sentence or two that brings the poem to a closure. And it doesn't have to be a closure where it's like, and so that's why I'm writing this piece. It could just give the writer or the reader an experience of thought, and then, something like, and then my eyes looked up to the clouds. You could take your writer to a place of wonder and don't feel like you have to tie it in a neat little bow. So I don't, it doesn't have to be like a Hallmark card. So it could be something, nothing against Hallmark cards, but you know what I mean. It doesn't have to be tidy and tied up at the end. All right, so a list poem is also known as a catalog poem. And it again, it lists things, whether it's names, places, actions, thoughts, images. It's very flexible. It can have rhyme in it if you want. If you tend to lean towards rhyme, that's fine. Doesn't have to. It could be short. It could be long. You'll see some list poems that are like going for days, like 3 or 4 pages. So it just really depends on what the author has to say. All right, so here I've given you about 4 different examples of, and we're going to take a quick look. I'm not going to read all these poems. I'll just kind of show them to you and just maybe read a few lines. So just kind of hang with me on these 4 poems because I want you to take a look at how it can be organized. And then I'm going to put you to writing work. So there's one by Mahogany Brown that's called Black Girl Magic. So we're going to click onto that. And I love this poem because I love the repetitive lines that we have in there. You'll see that that's also unique uh, of the list poem. So let me just get you sitting with the rhythm of this poem here. All right, bye. It goes by again. It's Black Girl Magic. They say you ain't supposed to be here. You ain't supposed to wear red lipstick. You ain't supposed to wear high heels. You ain't supposed to smile in public. You ain't supposed to smile nowhere, girl. You ain't supposed to be more than a girlfriend. You ain't supposed to get married. You ain't supposed to want no dream that big. You ain't supposed to dream at all. You ain't supposed to do nothing but carry babies and carry weaves and carry felons and carry families and carry confusion and carry silence and carry a nation, but never an opinion. You ain't supposed to say, have any, you ain't supposed to have nothing to say unless it's a joke. All right, so let's give it up to Mahogany here. All right, so you notice that rhythm and the repetitive lines of you ain't pose, and then she shifts into ain't carry, and carry, and carry, and carry, and then she goes on to talk about you ain't. And I also love the dialect, the vernacular that she's choosing to use. So these are some of the ways that you can move with this um, um, list poem. If you notice, weaves, felons, families, confusion, silence. So listing of things, situations, looks, feels, smells, touch, textures, Look at some of the word choices. I love this. You ain't supposed to wear high heels. You ain't supposed to smile in public. So again, she's just taking life experiences about things that she was supposed to or not supposed to do and list them. So she's putting this as a personal experience, but this also kind of morphs up into when you get in weaves, felons, families, goes into some of the social narratives that she's not supposed to do. That's kind of get held about who she is as a Black woman. All right, so let's look at another poem. These are juicy. Yay. Let's look at these. Let's see. We can go back to this poem. We have another one here by Ted Berrigan, Let the People Die. Now, this is an interesting format he chose to use on his list poem. Let's see, I had to make the little squares go away because I'm moving around here. Okay, so I'm not able to see your faces right now. But this is people who died. Now, again, I'm only going to read like 3 or 4 lines here. People who died. Pat Dugan, my grandfather, throat cancer, 1947. Ed Berrigan, my dad, heart attack, 1958. Dickie Budlong, my best friend, Brucey's big brother when we were 5 to 8, killed in Korea, 1953. Red O'Sullivan, hockey star and cross country runner who sat at my lunch table in high school, car crash, 1954. So when you look at this and go, wow, what's this? This is an example of a list poem. And what you'll find when you read this entire poem, and what I like about this example, is that he's choosing to build his list off of names of people that he's known, influences, and he's talking about their death and how they died. I can imagine if I were using this particular format, and I want to talk about gun violence, I might list names of, like, I mean, I'm just thinking about the most recent thing in Tallahassee, Florida, when there was a shooter. I'll lift up the names of these people, do a little research on this, people's names, who they were, how they died, the school, you might choose different things. And once you get to this list, it really becomes overwhelming, especially if it ends up as pages. And you don't have to say what the point is. It's listed right there. Young people, you had their ages, and how they died. And this is a way of claiming the names and putting the names up front. So people and legislators and folks who are talking about whether or not we should uh, um, have any kind of balance, more or greater care with gun violence, or eliminate it altogether, gun ownership, I should say. Yeah, I'm talking about gun ownership. Yes, I am. I am Buddha. So, I was like, what y'all need a gun for? But anyway, that's my personal opinion, but that's why we're here to talk about that. What's your personal opinion, and uplift the names to make your point. All right. So let me go back here and give you another one. This one is Let Me Begin Again by Major Jackson. I also thought this was a different way of looking at a list poem. And on this version, notice that he doesn't break this up into lines. Like it's one a big kind of a prose poem, but he still has the repetitive "let me begin." He talks about "let me begin," and he goes, the poem is "let me begin again," and he uses this repetitive right throughout the poem. So again, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but "let me begin again" as a quiet thought in the shape of a shell slowly examined by a brown child on a beach at dawn, straining to see their future. Let me begin this time knowing the drumming in my dreams is me inheriting the earth, is morning lighting up the rivers. Let me burn my vanities, old music in pine, sifters of scotch, a day moon like a signature of night. This time, let me circle the island of my fears only once, then live like a raging waterfall and grow a magnificent mustache. So when you look at and feel this poem, you know, this is a poem of, let me begin. So if you notice that, in these poems, they have a rhythm because of the repetition of the let me, let me, let me. So there might be a phrase that you use. In some of these poems, you'll see some will say, we want, or I believe, or like in Martin Luther King, I have a dream. We have these repetitive lines that become the rhythm of our poem. So again, this is a beautiful poem that lives with "Let Me Begin," and it's a beautiful example of a list poem, but this time done in a prose-like fashion. But you can see that it offers you different imagery. Okay, now I'm going to give you one last example, and this is a very old poem, and it's short. It's called "Inventory" by Dorothy Parker. And I thought this was an interesting poem to take a look at. This one says, um, "For be the things I am wiser to know, idlesse, sorrow, a friend and a foe. For be the things I've been better without, love, curiosity, freckles, and doubt. Three be the things I shall never attain, envy, content, and sufficient champagne. Three be the things I shall have till I die, laughter and hope, and a sock in the eye." So, it kind of ends in a dark place in my personal opinion, but this is also part of her life. So when you look at this particular poem, she uses numbers, four be the things, three be the things. And I found it was interesting that we use four twice and three twice in this. And so she talks about things that she was wiser to know, be better without, she should never attain, and then things she would have forever. And then she lists them underneath as the second line to each of the stanzas. So I thought this was a very interesting way to structure a list poem. So this was like your mini, mini, mini. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. This is like your mini lesson on list poems and the variety of ways that you can um, put down your thoughts. And now I'm going to offer you a prompt as a way to really think about, and I also will put it in the chat, the way that you could think about starting, because you got a blank page, right? I'm going to give you about 15 minutes to write. So, this is a crappy first draft. So just know that you can finish it up whenever you want. But the very first thing you want to do in a list poem is really think about a topic. What do you want to write about? What topic do you want to give voice to? Um, you want to look at that. If I want to talk about racial justice, or gun violence, like I gave in the beginning around the shootings and things like that. I mean, there's so unfortunate we have so many things we could talk about. Climate change, you could talk about the weather and what's been happening. Particularly, I know where I live here in Florida, it's hurricane du jour. Um, and so I look at this and, we can, it's like pick your poison. And when you think about the topic, you're not only looking at ways that it devastates us, but also you can look at things that, that these things exist and here's what you hope for. So again, you can protest and also you can also uplift. So, and the poem can have both in it. So don't think that you're relegated just to one style. So here's a suggestion. If you're having a hard time just thinking, I always find that brainstorming lists are really easy ways to get yourself started. So here, let me give you a little direction. So think of a theme. It could be about the earth, self-care. It could be about revolution. It could be about, whatever your theme is. Now, if you're having a tough time thinking about that, I want you to brainstorm like I suggest 3 lists because I always think that I can pull from different lists and they motivate the writing. So for those of you who've taken my workshop before, I like to do a brainstorm list where you like list down the numbers 1 to 10. It's like a forced association. So you just take your pen and just make a vertical list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, make your list there. Don't put anything there yet. And then at the top, you're going to write, okay, this is just a personal list, images, names, places, products, situations, things that just pop in my mind right now. And you just list them from, 1 to 10. And so that could be one list. Just what I call a personal list, something about you. It could be, my baby sister, Ronnie, or it could be places that I've been. I'm from Washington, D.C., so I might say Washington, D.C. Names and places or products. It could be something like a product could be something like Ivory Snow, something that was memorable as a child, or for me, Jergens lotions. Situations you could think about. Again, because it's my personal list, I could think about my uncle was murdered by his boss at the post office, and so that's a tragic thing, and so that I might have that down as a situation. Things I might have is like my guitar. I play guitar, my organ, my flute. So there could be just these images. They don't have to make sense. They don't have to do anything, but they're just things that pop in your mind. All right. Then I'm going to ask you to do a second list, a political list, to brainstorm a political list. And again, you could decide what political is for you. But for me, radical self-care is very political because it's very personal and it's something that I believe that people don't do to take care of themselves in the midst of uprising. So for me, my topic might be something like, okay, what's my political list? It's around self-care. And I might put something like meditation. I might put down something like walking, breathing, enjoying flowers, outdoors, um, sunshine, sunflowers, beach. I just might just put down these images of, for me, what means self-care, sleep. Telling Emma I didn't have enough sleep last night. So there could be different things that I put down. And also you could do things like, gun violence. I could put down racial discrimination. I could put down women's rights, women's bodies, right to choose, trans. I could put down, identity. I could put down who you love. There are different political quips that you could just write on your list. And then you could also do a list of vision, things that you might want to see. And for me, it's library cards in every kid's hand, real books like truth telling. It could be food access. It could be everybody has a plate of greens. So these are things that you can put down as actual tangible things, visions that you want to see. They don't have to make sense, but this the thing that pops in your head. And then you draw from these lists what your political poem might turn out to be in terms of the list poem. So you're going to use these brain lists as the content. So I'm going to put these ideas in the chat box. Hold on for a minute. I gave them to you real fast, I know, but give me a moment to copy them for you. I'm reading from a list here, and it's not cooperating with me right now. Let's see if I can get it going. There we go. Copy this list, put it in the chat. And I'm going to give you the next 15 minutes just to brainstorm your list and let that get going. And then I'll be able to see any questions that might have popped up in the chat box. So let's use the next 15 minutes to start brainstorming. And then what I'll do, I will I'll ask for a few volunteers to read. Hey, good people, why don't you bring your pen to a close? I'm putting in the box here what I call a crappy draft. Uh-oh, looks like I went over the word limit here for I have 600 words over my limit here. I was going to put it in the chat here. I'm just going to I'm gonna cut off a stanza here. See if that gives me what I need. I'm over the characters here. I was going to give you an example in the chat. So let me eliminate some characters here. Gee. I'm about to cut 500 more words. I'm in characters. I like to have a volunteer and use the hand function, if you will. That's easier for me to see. All right. All right, Sam. Would love to see you. Can we unmute Sam? So Sam
Yeah,
can.
I'm unmuted. You want me to read what I wrote?
Yeah, could you read what you wrote?
Sure. Let's see here. We demand justice for the oppressed and marginalized. We demand the truth to be spoken and the end to lies. We demand equality for all to be treated the same. We demand freedom from systemic racism's heavy chains. We demand a voice for the voiceless, a chance to be listened to. We demand health care for the sick, of which there's more than a few. We demand healthy food and hope for the poor. We demand education for all and a chance to grow and soar. That's all I got.
Oh, nice. Okay. Let's get some snaps. All right, Sam, you're on a roll there. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, great poem. Deborah, can we hear your poem next? Welcome back. Can we unmute Deborah?
Testing.
There you go.
Hear me. All right. First of all, you are so wow. I don't even know where to start, but I will. So, political list. Trans youth being silenced. Truths gagged. Suicidal ideation and acts. I keep hearing the can'ts. Passport insult safe passage. Creates impossibilities. Assigned, not chosen. Protections broken. Trust scattered like broken glass. Sharp shards mirror unreflected. Something. Insulting pricks of pain turn to deep, unrelenting wounds. Nothing changes enough to matter. Silence equals death. Movement equals meaning. A chance equals must.
Nice. Great start. Let's give her some love around that poem. Okay, these are you got the list, right? So you know you can keep going on this. I really like how you're starting with this. This is fabulous. Princess, the poet, you're next. Welcome. Let's see. Let's
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Nice. Thanks.
Okay. I want to sketch and paint people, to read and write and think about our shared histories. I want to see my children bloom, my grandchildren to be and bloom too. I want to show them what I learned. I want to show what I learned with them. I want to get to Sesame Street, go to the place Mr. Rogers would visit. I want to work at the electric company. I want to see the impossible dream become true as my country becomes a real place, indivisible with justice for all.
Nice, nice. I like that. I like that. Great. All right. So, pulling different words from the narrative, our nation narrative, and then saying what we want. Okay, great, great. Thank you, Princess. Okay, Susan, give us something.
Okay. Okay, it's called Five Calls. I hear the ring, waiting for the recording to click on. Please leave your message for Senator Johnson. I remain calm, my voice even, my tone friendly. Inside, I'm shouting, banging the desktop, wanting to curse him for his inaction. He's following the administration's playbook. I speak slowly, my name and address. He will know me as a constituent. Today, I call about the SAVE Act. I know voting should be easier. I know this bill will make it harder for married women, for those who move frequently, for the elderly, for the poor. I know they will have to prove they are Americans. They will have to send for the government's evidence of their birth. I know many will give up. They will stay at home. I ask him, Senator Johnson, to vote no. I know he will not listen. I know he will vote yes. Still I call because I know one day it could make a difference. It makes a difference to me.
Susan, thank you, thank you. Oh, Susan, send that poem. Send that poem. Send that poem. Thank you for that. Thank you. Christine, lay us some poems.
Okay, I apologize in advance for some of the names that I'm listing if I don't pronounce them correctly. I have always wondered about how the Holocaust happened. I didn't understand. How did they take away neighbors and friends and most people look the other way? How did more than 1,000 concentration camps get built and filled? Where was the moral outrage? How did they dehumanize the people where everyday folks thought it was okay or didn't even think of it at all? Mohammed Khalil graduated from Columbia University, green card holder, led Palestine protests, detained in Louisiana, just missed the birth of his first child. Rumesi Öztürk, taken by ICE from Tufts University, a Fulbright scholar. She co-wrote an op-ed in the student newsletter. In defiance of a court order, she was disappeared to Louisiana. Mohsen Madawi, Columbia University, taken away from his interview to become a naturalized U.S. citizen, led a pro-Palestine protest last year. Yoon Soo Chung, South Korean, pro-Palestine student, currently in hiding. Alariza Durrady, University of Alabama to Louisiana private prison, currently reasons unknown. Badar Khansuri, postdoctoral fellow, condemned for being related to marriage to someone in India, reality pro-Palestine, disappeared to Louisiana, then Texas. Kansina Petrov, Harvard, may hold the key to cancer detection, but currently being held in Louisiana after returning from a conference in France. Gilmar Abriga Garcia, wrongly kidnapped and sent to an El Salvadorian brutal mega prison and still there in defiance of a U.S. Supreme Court order to facilitate his return home. Andre Jose Hernandez Romero, Herce Reyes Barrios, Francisco Javier Garcia Casquic, currently in modern-day concentration camps. At least 48 people disappeared from New Mexico. Over 1,300 international student visas revoked, and now they could be criminalized. Masked men taking people from the streets. Families finding out when they see their shaved heads and being frog marched into hell. People being labeled terrorists, gang members, illegal, without due process. How did they dehumanize the people where everyday folks thought it was okay or didn't even think of it at all? I don't have to wonder anymore. and I still struggle to understand. Don't look away.
Woo! Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you, thank you. I see we have, thank you so much, Christine. We have one more person, Gloria, and we're at time. So if we could borrow 3 more minutes, Gloria, can you do yours in about 3 minutes before we say goodbye? Can we unmute Gloria? I would love to have Gloria's voice in.
Hello. Yes, thank you. It's only short.
Okay.
My poem is about my resistance. Don't whitewash my identity as irrelevant. I'll break down your barricade, trample over your coercion. Don't adore me in ribbons and lace, like a mannequin in a shop window. I'll tear down your display. Don't put me on top of your wedding cake. Serve me up on a plate. I'll make it hard for you to digest. I'm not your queen of hearts and a pack of cards to show off to your mates. I stand proud. You see me. I own it, my identity.
Nice, nice, Gloria, nice. Oh, Victoria, I saw you slip your hand up, sweetie. I'm sorry. It's only an hour. I have to say no. But I'll listen. I'll stay on and listen to your poem. Listen, I want to say thank you all. This was such an amazing class. You all are fired up and ready to speak. For those of you who just got your list done today, you are halfway there. I would love to see you all continue to write these poems, post them on Facebook, post them on Instagram, post them in your newspapers, put them out there, because your job as a poet is to speak truth to power. So if you must go, I know you have to leave, but I'm going to give Victoria here a chance to put their voice in. So go ahead, Victoria. You are the official last one. Bring us home.
Okay, that is okay. Can you hear me?
I hear you fine.
This is not my home. It would not just be me responsible for keeping all the surfaces in the dining room bright, which includes the surfaces of any skin, no matter where it has come from. This is not my home. I would hear a ball bouncing behind the house somewhere. A bee would slowly float by one of the downstairs windows. There would be plenty of dark roasted coffee, sweet butter, one thawed. This is not my home. There would not be trash gathered near the sidewalks, microwavable breakfast food or instant potatoes or powdered milk. There would be one ebony magazine with signs it has been read. There would not be a TV in the living room the size of a family icebox. There would not be alien movies, bare bone artwork, artificial juice, a flawless Bible on the living room table. Nina Simone's record would be near the record player. I will remember hearing someone sing, "You Know How I Feel." In the living room this New Year's, Mama is home. She would be home. There's dark wine in her hands. Daddy is with her. They're well. We're well.
All right, Victoria, you brought us on home. Thank you, thank you. Oh, we're going to give you some love. Oh, I love this poem. Y'all fired up. Keep it going on. Keep it going on. Keep it going on. I'm excited. Please follow me on Facebook. It's Yvette Angelique. You can follow me on Instagram. It's Yvette Angelique Writes. I left my email address at the end of the presentation that you have on Canva. So listen, y'all have a great week. Keep writing these poems. Keep posting these poems. I want to see them. And, speak truth to power. That is your work as a poet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for being a part of Hope at Hands Jack's Poetry Fest this year. Love seeing you here. Thank you, thank you. All right.
Everybody.
Goodbye. Thank you all so much.